Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Advancement Information Session hosted by the American College of Healthcare Executives. I am your presenter, Juliana Kazregas, Credentialing Manager for ACHE. Also with me in the room is Anita Halverson, Senior Vice President of Executive Engagement, Dawn Matthews, our Manager of Customer Service, along with Chris Cuevas and Deneen Wakefield, two of our customer service representatives. The team will be supporting me with answering your submitted questions during the presentation. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. You're listening in using your computer's speaker system by default. If you would prefer to join over the phone, go to the audio pane and select phone call, and then dial-in information will be displayed. You will have the opportunity to submit questions during today's presentation by typing your questions into the questions pane of the control panel. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation. Anita, Dawn, Chris, and Deneen will be answering questions throughout the presentation. We will also be available to address your questions during scheduled Q&A portions during our time together, as well as at the end of the presentation. Please keep your questions general in nature and not specific to your particular situation or circumstance. Questions regarding your personal journey toward advancement should be directed to the ACHE Customer Service Center. The email and phone number will be displayed at the end of the presentation. Handouts are available for download in the Handouts pane of the toolbar. This session is also being recorded, and we will post the recording and the presentation slides to the ACHE website for future reference. We welcome you to revisit the content yourself and share it with colleagues. Let's get started. In this session, we'll answer the fundamental questions you probably have about earning your fellow credential. First, we'll consider the benefits of pursuing the credential, review the eligibility requirements, and examine the application process candidates must complete. We'll also look more closely at what you need to study, discuss what you can expect during the exam, and consider different options for preparing and review ongoing recertification requirements once you've become a fellow. And now I'd like to introduce Anita Halverson, who will give us a story about her journey toward fellow advancement, as well as the benefits and value of becoming a fellow. Anita?
Thank you, Juliana. I want to personally thank all of you for what you're doing at this time of the world. You are balancing critical leadership demands, stressful public health concerns, and busy, complicated personal lives. I recognize the commitment and the effort it takes to become credentialed as a fellow. I applaud your interest and perseverance in achieving this very personal and professional goal. So why should you pursue the FACHE credential? As a fellow, you'll earn your place as a recognized leader among leaders in healthcare management. The FACHE credential is the standard for excellence in healthcare leadership. As a fellow, you not only indicate your expert level of knowledge and achievement, but also elevate your professional standing throughout your career. The FACHE credential helps you stand out among your peers. It proves that you've met rigorous standards, not only within your professional society, but at the executive level of healthcare management. It also demonstrates your competency in all areas of healthcare leadership, from strategy and community outreach to financial management, talent management, and governance. The FACHE credential helps you stand out within your organization. The expertise you develop when becoming a fellow strengthens your adaptability as a leader who can face the ever-changing challenges across the healthcare industry. In addition, the ongoing requirements to continue your professional development reflect your commitment to lifelong learning, innovation, and self-improvement. Finally, the FACHE credential helps you stand out in your healthcare community. You demonstrate in tangible ways how you and your organization make a positive impact on patient care and community health. So why did I become a fellow? I started my career as a speech language pathologist in hospitals. I quickly transitioned into leadership roles, but it was not until I was in a director level role that I had my aha moment, when I really understood that I was now a healthcare administrator. I was responsible for more than clinical outcomes. And it was time that I wanted to be recognized as a healthcare leader. So how could I do that? By proving my knowledge, abilities, and skills were at a higher level than some of my peers. Actually, the highest level I could achieve to be on the same competency level as executives. I became a fellow. The FACHE credential brings continuous value to you as a healthcare leader, as well as your organization and your community. It is highly respected and provides important recognition within the healthcare industry and among your peers. It acknowledges a deep understanding of healthcare leadership competencies. It will enhance your leadership role and strengthen you as an asset within your organization. Because you must complete a recertification every 3 years, the FACHE credential signifies your commitment to maintain that high competency level, changing and improving our profession of healthcare management. The community of fellows is a collaborative and supportive one. It's a valued source of lifelong personal and professional relationships. Fellows consistently describe the easy and significant level of interaction they experience with this influential group. We have recently heard a number of stories about fellows connecting to self-specific issues with the COVID pandemic. They didn't hesitate to reach out to their fellow peers to ask for help or share local or national experience just to pay it forward. Most importantly, fellows say that they have achieved a greater personal satisfaction in their careers and their personal performance, thanks to the competencies, knowledge, and relationships that they've gained through achieving fellow status with ACHE. I'm thrilled that you're taking the steps to become a fellow. I look forward to celebrating you and your achievement when you become certified. I pass you back to Juliana to detail the requirements to apply for and become fellow certified. ACHE is here to support you along your professional development journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. So now that you understand the benefits and value of becoming a fellow, let's talk about the eligibility requirements. The membership requirement demonstrates commitment to the healthcare management profession and to ACHE. You must be an ACHE member for a minimum of 3 years. However, effective January 1st, 2021, individuals will have to be a member for just 1 year instead of 3. All of the other requirements, including having the 5 years of healthcare management experience, remain the same. We hope that this will allow more members to pursue their credential while maintaining the rigorous standards for knowledge and expertise required to be board certified in healthcare management. Membership does not have to be consecutive. You may have gaps, but the total years of active membership must currently add up to 3 years, and as of January 1st, to 1 year, as tenure is counted during the dates that you are a paid full member of ACHE. If you are a faculty or an international associate member that is interested in becoming board certified as a fellow, you must first convert to your member status before submitting a fellow application. But your time in faculty and international associate member status will count towards the tenure. However, student associate tenure does not count toward the tenure requirements to apply for fellow. The education requirement provides a minimum level of education needed to be certified. You must hold a master's or other post-baccalaureate degree. Some examples may include an MHA, an MPA, MPH, MBA. Any master's degree will qualify. The degree does not have to be specific to healthcare. As part of the application process, you will be required to attach a copy of your diploma or your official transcript from your school. A post-baccalaureate degree is defined as one that is achieved after receiving a bachelor's degree, but may not be a full graduate or a professional degree. These are usually 1 or 2 year programs beyond the bachelor's degree. Examples may include a post-degree diploma, a graduate diploma, graduate certificates, or a pre-medical certification needed to pursue a master's degree in a field such as medicine or health sciences. The experience requirement provides a minimum standard of practical experience needed to be certified. You must currently be in an executive level healthcare management position and have a minimum of 5 years of experience in healthcare management. This means you must be employed by a healthcare organization or a healthcare influencer. So that includes consulting firms, government organizations, and suppliers, to name just a few. In addition, you must hold a position of leadership, which is at least a department director level, which includes control of departmental budgeting, planning, and staffing, as well as accountability to senior management for departmental performance. The full definition with interpretations can be found at the link provided on this slide. Physicians and nurses must hold a department head or director position where at least 50% of your time is devoted to managing administrative functions. Consultants must hold the top leadership role of their team. And finally, faculty must hold the program director or chair position or some other high-level administrative position within their department. Most professionals applying for the FACHE credential have a varying level of experience. To help you determine whether you have that level of experience defined by ACHE, we've created this matrix tool to help you determine your current experience and identify any gaps. On the left-hand side of the matrix, you'll want to indicate the position you currently hold and any applicable past positions. Then check the boxes for the position that corresponds to the type of experience you have. For example, planning, organizing, staffing, controlling, and so forth. As you fill in this matrix, you'll be able to identify areas that need additional experience in order to meet ACHE's definition of executive level healthcare management experience. You can access this tool from the ACHE website provided in the previous slide. You'll also find some examples of completed matrix tools for you to review. While this tool is helpful to assess your management experience, it is not required for your advancement application. The documents that ACHE will review include your current job description, organizational chart, and resume. Let's take a pause here and see what questions you may have. Anita, would you please let me know some of the questions from participants about the information presented so far?
Sure, Juliana, thank you. Will you just review, please, the difference in years between membership tenure and management experience?
Of course. So membership tenure is membership with ACHE. And that is right now, from now until December 31st, members have to have 3 years of membership, and beginning on January 1st, it is 1 year of membership. The tenure is strictly membership with your professional organization, ACHE. The healthcare management experience is your work experience and the roles and responsibilities that you have in your daily lives. So it is based on your position in your organization that you currently have, as well as other positions that you may have had in the past that would qualify for healthcare management.
Thank you, Juliana. I have 2 others. What if a leader is currently in transition, yet they meet all of the other requirements? They're in between jobs right now.
Sure, that's a great question. Thank you for that. If you are currently in transition or unemployed, we do have a process where we will waive the requirement to currently be in a healthcare position. However, you still have to have the 5 years of experience from your past work experience. When you submit your application, you will still need to supply your job description, organizational chart, and resume, but it should be reflective of your most recent past experience. There's also an extra form that you'll fill out, and if you are in such a situation, the customer service center can send you that extra form. This form is just an attestament that you are currently looking for a job and that you are currently in transition or out of work at the moment.
Thank you so much, Juliana. And the last one for now is advanced degrees such as a JD, an MD, or a DO. Do those count as an advanced healthcare education degree?
Yes, they absolutely do.
Thank you.
Let's continue with reviewing some more of the eligibility requirements. The references requirement provides candidates the opportunity to network among their fellow peers. It also provides confirmation that a candidate holds the professional attributes required of fellow status. Candidates must provide 2 references with their application. The first reference is a structured interview, either face-to-face or by telephone, between you and a current fellow. The interview itself focuses on your professional capacities related to competence, sound judgment, integrity, and ethics. If you don't know a fellow, you can find one through the ACHE membership directory or by contacting your local chapter or regent. They'll be very helpful in getting you connected with a fellow. The second reference is in written form and should come from another current fellow, or it can be a senior leader within your organization. When you're applying for advancement, what you will need to provide is the name of each individual providing a reference on your behalf for you to submit your application. It is on your onus to connect with your references and ensure that they submit their reference around the same time that you submit your application, so that there is no delay in getting you authorized to sit for the Board of Governors exam. Both the structured interview as well as the written reference can be submitted online using the Submit a Reference for a Candidate link provided on ACHE's website, and I've provided the link here for you on this slide as well. The next requirement is continuing education. Now, professional development is a hallmark of ACHE. Face-to-face education is important because it provides you the opportunity to learn with and from other members of the ACHE community while enabling you to grow your peer network for sharing and problem solving. Additionally, it reinforces shared interaction, particularly with junior to senior executives. To meet the continuing education requirement, you must demonstrate that you've completed 36 hours of healthcare management related continuing education within the last 3 years prior to submitting your application. This includes at least 12 hours of ACHE face-to-face education, and that is earned by participating in the annual conference or congress, cluster seminars, or on-location programs. The remaining hours can be additional ACHE face-to-face hours, or they may be hours earned from participating in your local chapter events or other healthcare-related professional organizations. As all of us move forward and adapt to the changes resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic, ACHE is offering the opportunity to receive face-to-face education from your home or office through June 30th, 2021. These are innovative, interactive virtual courses with 3, 6, or 9 face-to-face education hours. These offerings include real-time live group discussions, discussion board conversations with faculty and other participants, and course readings, assessments, and surveys. The courses cover many of the competencies on the Board of Governors exam, such as financial management, strategic planning, safety and quality, and leadership development. The course schedule and topics are available from the ACHE website, and attendance for each of these courses is limited to ensure a high level of participant interaction. You can earn qualified education hours through a variety of resources. On demand, webinar recordings, you can access the recordings of previously held webinars. Those are worth 1 or 1.5 qualified hours. The recordings include the audio presentation, audience participation, and question and answer sessions. Online seminars provide the opportunity to develop your leadership skills and elevate your leadership capabilities through a selection of interactive online seminars. You can earn qualified education hours from your home or office without the need to travel. Also, live webinars can help to expand your knowledge on those critical issues in healthcare management. These are 60-minute live webinars, often in real time, on timely topics and perspectives that also include interactive Q&A sessions. And finally, the self-study courses are portable, so you can take them with you on planes and trains, although probably not many of us are traveling these days, or you can learn comfortably in your home or office. These courses are ready for you at any time, no waiting for the next seminar schedule or webinar that fits into your own schedule. And I wanted to point out as well that we're currently running 2 special offers on some of our qualified education events. Now through December 31st, we are offering 25% discount on the registration fee for on-demand webinar recordings, online seminars, and live seminars. And then for the self-study courses, if you purchase 1 course, you will receive a 2nd course at 50% off. And that is available on phone orders only. The information is available on our website to phone in any orders for self-study. In addition to these offerings that ACHE has, I recommend you reach out to your local ACHE chapter, as well as other healthcare organizations, to receive the education and earn your continuing education hours. The next requirement is volunteer activities. So contributing to the industry and one's local community is another hallmark of ACHE since its foundation. It is believed that healthcare executives should be part of their community in order to grow in their positions as leaders and understand the needs of the communities they serve. You must demonstrate participation in 2 healthcare-related activities and 2 community civic activities within the past 3 years prior to submitting your application. And some examples of healthcare-related activities may be service to ACHE or other local and national healthcare-related organizations, such as board or committee participation, organizing community health fairs, volunteering or participating in a blood drive, or perhaps speaking at a workshop or to a group on healthcare-related issues. Some examples of community or civic activities would include participation in charitable or religious organizations. It could be serving on local school or community boards. It could also be participating in local community fundraising events, as well as could be coaching a sports team or involvement with your local 4-H group or scouting troops. And then the final requirement to become a fellow is passing the Board of Governors exam. The exam provides a valid and reliable assessment for candidates to demonstrate their education, knowledge, and professional expertise within the body of knowledge based on this job analysis survey. The exam sets the level of minimal required competence as a healthcare executive. Anita, let's do another content check. Would you please let me know some of the questions from participants?
Yes, Juliana, I have 2 different sections. One, could you please re-explain the references? Specifically, one needing to be a structured interview. Is there a format? If you could give a little advice in that area.
Sure. The structured interview is a telephone or face-to-face interview with another fellow. And there is a form on the website You can check it out and look at the questions that a fellow may want to ask you. These questions are related to your competency, your ethics. There could be some questions on there about how ACHE is governed. So they might ask you about the Council of Regents or the Board of Governors. They also cover some of ACHE's ethical policy statements. So the questions are there. There's probably 10 or 15 questions on the form, which is available on the website. They're not required to ask you all of the questions, but you should be prepared to answer any one of those questions that the fellow might bring up.
Terrific, thank you. And in terms of qualified education, will you please re-explain the other qualified organizations? What might be some examples of who those organizations might be?
Sure. So as healthcare professionals, we realize that you are probably involved with other organizations and have other credentials as well with those organizations, and are attending continuing education. So some organizations that I would recommend would be the HFMA, the Healthcare Financial Management Association, AONL, which is the American Organization of Nurse Leaders, also MGMA, the Management or Medical Management Group Association. I believe I may be wrong on that one. But really any organization that is providing healthcare related topics. And if you're unsure, I would recommend that you look at the content outline for the Board of Governors exam, which is coming up in the presentation, to ensure that the topic is covered on the content outline, to make sure that that educational offering is going to be valid for qualified education. There's no need for you to send in any kind of documentation that you attended any courses from other organizations, such as a certificate of participation or certificate of attendance. When you're filling out your application for advancement, you simply need to let us know what the organization was, the event that you attended, whether it was a 1-hour webinar or a multi-day conference. Just let us know what it was you attended, the dates that you attended, and the number of hours that you earned. And when you are calculating the hours earned, 1 hour of content is worth 1 hour of qualified education credit.
Thank you so much. People are eager to hear about the process, so I think we can go on.
All right. So how can you start the application process? There's one of two ways that you can do this directly from the ACHE website. The first is to start your application from the Start Continue My Application link on our website. The second would be to log into your My ACHE page and use the helpful links to access the application, as well as enter information for each of the requirements. You may add information to your My Degrees, My Work History, My Healthcare Community Activities, and My Education Credit helpful links, and those are highlighted on this slide. You can also access the full application form to provide this information as well. And to do that, you would just go to the Apply for FACHE link. You can access the application at any time. So I would highly encourage people on this call, if you are seriously thinking about advancing to fellow, start looking at that application now, start loading in information to it. ACHE will track and save any of the information that you've provided. Obviously, the application won't let you submit your application until you have met all of the requirements, but at least you can start filling in those gaps for continuing education or volunteer activities. You can even start uploading your documents, your resume, your job description, your organizational chart, and everything will be saved there in your application until you are ready to submit. The application process can really be looked at in 5 steps. First, you must meet the eligibility requirements as we previously described. Next, you submit your application to ACHE, and there is a $250 application fee. Once it's submitted, ACHE confirms that you have met all of the requirements and are eligible to advance, at which time, once your application is approved, you have 2 years from that point to take and pass the Board of Governors exam. When you feel you are ready, you'll then register for the exam with ACHE. At this point, there is a $225 exam fee. To do this, you'll simply go back to your My ACHE page, and the Apply to FACHE link will now change to Fellow Application Status. Fellow Application Status link will bring you to the page where you can register for the Board of Governors exam. ACHE then processes your registration and authorizes you to schedule your appointment at a local Pearson VUE testing center. And this process can take 5 to 7 business days, so just be aware of the timing there. The exam is administered by Pearson VUE at their test centers across the country. Within another 3 to 5 business days from your registration, ACHE will send you information about scheduling your appointment at a Pearson VUE center. Now, Pearson VUE testing centers are available for testing throughout the United States and internationally. Candidates must bring and wear a face mask while at a Pearson VUE center and throughout your exam. Centers are really operating at close to 100% capacity. However, availability may still be limited at some locations due to social distancing and local government guidelines with the COVID pandemic. Some test centers, though, have extended their hours to be open nearly 24 hours a day. And candidates who take the exam at a Pearson VUE center will receive their results immediately. So what happens after you take the exam? Well, first of all, I'll tell you 73% of test takers pass the exam. When you're studying for it, you should target answering 65% of the questions correctly to pass. If you pass the exam, you will earn the FACHE credential and be inducted into the community of fellows at the convocation ceremony held at the annual Congress. Many fellows like to invite family and colleagues to share in this very meaningful occasion. But if you fail the exam, don't lose heart. You can do additional preparation and take the exam again after 60 days. There is no limit to the number of times you may take the exam within your 2-year application eligibility period. Let's take another pause here and see what questions you may have about the application process and taking the exam.
Thank you, Juliana. Can you please speak to healthcare management related certificates? And do those count as qualified education? So perhaps it would be a certification that was offered by a university or another healthcare related association, and they are healthcare management related.
Sure. So yes, they would. We would, of course, need for you as the applicant to tell us what the organization was and what the course you may have taken or the certificate that you received. Sometimes during the application process, we'll Google some of the events to see what they are if we're not familiar with them. Also, if there's any questions along the way, our customer service staff, they do reach out to you personally and will ask you questions about anything that is not clear for us or that we don't understand regarding your application. It's our goal to make this as simple as possible for you to apply and to make sure that we get people advanced with the appropriate qualifications.
Thank you so much. Can you talk a little bit about our military members? Is there any difference in the process or the requirement for our healthcare military members?
Great. No, there is no difference in the process for the military. It is the same process as all candidates would need to meet.
Terrific. Let's go on and continue to hear about this great information.
Thank you. So the next section is about preparing for the examination. How can you prepare for the Board of Governors exam? So ACHE, or the exam is comprised of 230 multiple choice questions that cover the 10 core knowledge areas for healthcare management, and you will have 6 hours to complete the exam. ACHE has identified these 10 knowledge areas for successful healthcare management through the results of an extensive job analysis study. This study is conducted every 5 years, and the last one was completed in 2017. Within each of these knowledge areas, there are tasks related to each that provide candidates with more detail about what may appear on the exam. Each of those areas represents the portion of the exam shown here on this slide. It gives you the breakdown of the number of questions for each knowledge area, as well as the portion of the entire exam those questions represent. So as you can see, healthcare represents the largest area covered on the exam, while governance and organizational structure represent the fewest number of questions on the exam. And you can find the complete content outline that tells you what may be covered on the exam on the ACHE website, along with the breakdown of questions. Not questions, but the tasks related to each. Most candidates find that it takes between 3 to 6 months to prepare for the exam. This does depend on your individual education and your work experience. There are a number of different resources you can use to study. You should choose the one that best matches your learning style. So what I recommend is you review the 10 knowledge areas, the related knowledge statements, and consider your personal competency level in each of those areas. And then focus your study on areas that you may need further education or further help with. The exam is job related and experience based. So that means that ACHE is looking for best practices and solutions at a national level, not just what you may have encountered in your particular position or even at your particular work setting. ACHE offers this just released virtual Board of Governors exam review course. This is going to be a multi-week virtual course providing the opportunity to gain insight and information into all of the 10 knowledge domains, explore effective test-taking strategies, review sample test questions, also gain a better understanding of the overall exam content, structure, and scoring. The course may be used to set the foundation for your study or take it as the culmination of your review effort. The course runs from November 24th through December 18th with required live sessions throughout. Participants will receive 12 ACHE face-to-face hours that may be applied to your application. And then of course it's priced at $950 for members and $1,050 for non-members. Another option is the online tutorial. So this is a convenient way to prepare for the Board of Governors exam. The tutorial uses an online self-study format to help refine your knowledge and improve your study skills. This program goes over a detailed look at the different topics covered on the exam and resources to focus your preparation. You will have 1 year from the date of purchase to access the course and complete the requirements. You'll have access to PowerPoint slides, audio lectures, and reading materials. And then upon completion, you will earn 10 qualified education hours that also can be applied to your advancement application. And the hours are applied after the course is completed, not when the course is first purchased. And the course there is priced at $550 for ACHE members and $650 for non-members. Then we have the exam study set. This has been assembled to help you prepare for the exam. The books can be used to also supplement other study resources, whether it be the virtual review course, whether it be the online tutorial, or whether it be some other education or study that you are doing. The books can help supplement that. The set is available for $295, which reflects a 40% savings below individual cover prices. And then it's excluded as well from any other additional sales and discounts. It includes the Well-Managed Healthcare Organization, Introduction to Financial Management of Healthcare Organizations, Human Resources in Healthcare, and the newly revised 9th edition of Information Systems for Healthcare Management. Next, the exam flashcards are a convenient way to brush up for the exam. These were reviewed by subject matter experts in each of the 10 knowledge areas, and they highlight and define key terms that will reinforce your understanding of important concepts in healthcare management. It's a set of 415 cards that have really been designed with your schedule in mind. They're portable, so you can be productive anywhere. They are color-coded by knowledge area to help with sorting. You might be, going on a trip and just want to bring the finance section, so you'll just grab that color section and take those with you. The nice thing about these is they also cross-reference additional resources to round out your exam preparation. The flashcards also include a digital version, which is powered by Quizlet, which has and information on how to activate that digital version is provided when you purchase the set. The set is available for $140. And then finally, you can purchase the exam study bundle, which is at a much deeper discount. It includes all 4 of those books plus the flashcards in one bundled set for an even deeper discount priced at $395. But I would also encourage you to look outside of ACHE for other places and other resources that you might want to use. Each of our 77 chapters provides educational programs, local information, and volunteering and networking opportunities, really to help you develop your leadership skills and stand out in this dynamic healthcare environment. Chapters also provide opportunities to give back to the profession and earn face-to-face and qualified education hours that can be used toward your advancement application. Many of our chapters offer review courses or organized study groups to help you prepare for your exam. And I would encourage you to reach out, find your local chapter, reach out to them and see what is available as far as studying or study groups that you can tap into. So then once you've earned the FACHE credential, you must complete recertification requirements every 3 years. You have 2 options for doing this, very similar to your original application. Option 1 is to complete the 36 hours of continuing education, 12 of those hours being ACHE face-to-face. You must also participate in your volunteer activities, which are 2 healthcare activities and 2 community civic activities. And then there is the $200 recertification fee. The second option for recertification is to retake and pass the Board of Governors exam in lieu of the continuing education requirement. So there is a $350 exam fee plus your $200 recertification fee. In addition to that, you'll still need to participate in your healthcare activities, 2 community civic activities, and 2 healthcare related over the last 3 years. This is a nice alternative for those who may not have the time or resources to participate in continuing education activities. So get started now to earn your place as a leader among leaders in healthcare management by becoming a fellow of the American College of Healthcare Executives. Feel free to contact ACHE's Customer Service Center with any additional questions you may have. We at ACHE really want to do all we can to support your journey toward earning the FACHE credential. So we will use the time remaining to continue answering any questions submitted during today's presentation. We'll be available until 2:00 p.m. Central, and we'll get through as many questions as time allows. If we don't get to your specific questions, please phone or email the Customer Service Center after the webinar. As a reminder, you may submit your questions through the questions pane in your attendee control panel. Anita, do we have any questions?
Thank you so much, Juliana. I do want to remind everyone that the PowerPoint is available in the handouts section of the GoToMeeting panel, which you'll find very handy to review all of these requirements, in addition to the FACHE section of ache.org. So a few questions, Juliana. In terms of the study courses, either the self-study or the virtual multi-week course that's about to begin later this winter, will those educational credits earned be available to someone to use as part of their application?
Yes, they will. Any education that you earn from now to 3 years ago before you submit your application. So you have to have the education within the last 3 years. So if you attend any of our virtual events or any of our on-demand or purchase a self-study course that provides qualified education, those hours earned can contribute to fulfilling the requirements for continuing education to submit your application, as well as any activities that you may participate in with other organizations would fall under the qualified education bucket, and you can submit those hours towards your application as well.
Terrific, thank you. When ACHE receives someone's application, do they do a background check on what the person's position is? Or maybe what should be attached to the application to help to support the person's level of accountability and responsibilities?
Sure. So when we're looking at the healthcare management experience and the degree, there are 4 documents that are necessary to submit with your application. One is the evidence of your degree, and that is the form of either a copy or a picture even of your diploma or your transcript from your school. That is what is used as evidence of having a degree. For your current job position, the evidence is the job description and your organizational chart. So those are the 2 pieces that we want to verify your current position. And then for the 5 years of healthcare management, we're going to be looking at your resume to see, in addition to your current position, what other past positions may qualify to meet that 5 years. In some instances, perhaps you've been in your current position for 5 or more years, and so we don't need to look at those past positions. But perhaps you are only in your position for 1 year, and now we have to look back to your resume at those other qualifying positions that would meet the 5 years. Again, the 4 documents required: your degree, your job description, your organizational chart, and your resume. And let me be clear, when we get applications in, again, if there's ever any question that we have or information that we need beyond what has been submitted, we reach out to each candidate personally and have that conversation and ask them for more information or to clarify whatever we need on the application.
Thank you. Could you please revisit the volunteer activities, each type, and what might be some additional examples, such as does mentoring count, or volunteering within my own organization? Maybe if a hospital participates in American Heart Association Day or activities, or perhaps the volunteer activities with my chapter. Might those qualify?
Absolutely. All of those activities that you mentioned would qualify for volunteer activities. Again, you need 4 total. but 2 need to be healthcare related and 2 need to be community civic related. I like to think of it as kind of the community civic is kind of an umbrella over the healthcare related, because you could be participating in a healthcare related activity that could also be a community civic activity depending on what it is. So my advice there, when you're entering that information, fill it in for the bucket that you need. If it fits healthcare, put it in healthcare. If it doesn't fit healthcare but it's community civic, put it in there. But all of those activities that you mentioned, board service, committee service, volunteering with your employer, with your organization, if they're doing some kind of a volunteer activity, that would count. Also, I want to note that the service does not have to be of any determined length of time. So for example, you could participate in an event that your organization is doing. Let's say your organization is sponsoring a walk, and as a participant, you collected donations and you also participated the day of the walk, whether as a walker or as a volunteer attending a booth or helping people register, getting people their goodie bags, that kind of thing. So it could be a 1-hour commitment, it could be a 1-day commitment, it could be, you participate in something once a week, or it could be something even more formal like board and committee service where you are appointed to serve for an extended period of time, typically 2 or 3 years. It's the activity that is counting, not the length of time. And another question that we get a lot is, well, what kind of documentation do I have to submit to prove my volunteer activity? And the answer there is none. We do go on the honor system with both the volunteer activity as well as the continuing education from other organizations. As an ACHE member, you need to abide by the ACHE Code of Ethics, and we as professionals should be honest in all of our interactions with organizations and with others. So there's no documentation that you need to submit. It is just filling out the online form that's for continuing education or for volunteer activities, that is really just asking, what organization did you participate in? What was the activity that you did? What was the time frame of it? 1 day, multi-day, or a year board appointment or committee appointment? And that's really all. What I would like to stress, though, for the volunteer activity, merely being a member of an organization is not considered volunteering. You have to actually participate in an activity, participating in some kind of event that will satisfy that volunteer activity. So perhaps you were a speaker at an event, or you helped with the registration desk at an event. So you actually have to do some volunteer activity, not simply be a member of an organization. And also the other one that we get is you attended a conference. Conferences and attending education events should go in your continuing education bucket, not in your volunteer bucket. I hope that helps.
Thank you for that differentiation. I appreciate it. Similar to the question about military members, is there any difference or in the process or the requirements for our academic faculty members?
So there's no difference in the process, just the requirement. I want to stress that if you are a faculty, so a professor or assistant professor, adjunct professor, faculty do need to be in the department head level or department chair level at their university or college to be able to apply for fellow.
Thank you.
All of the other requirements are the same.
Thank you very much. Can you also, similar to how you gave additional examples for the volunteer, requirements. Can you also give some examples of folks who could serve as references for either your structured interview? Do they have to be within your organization? Do they have to be your direct boss? If you could give some examples.
So the references, again, it's 2 references, the structured interview, which has to be a fellow, and the written reference, which can be another fellow or some senior leader in your organization. If it's another fellow, they don't have to be within your organization. It could be just they are another fellow of ACHE. But if you're going the route that it's a senior leader in your organization, yes, they have to be in your organization. They don't have to be a member of ACHE, but they have to be a senior position from yours in your organization to write that written reference.
Thank you. And what if that individual is in transition at the moment? What might an alternative be?
The candidate or the reference?
Sorry, the fellow candidate. Yes.
Oh, sure. If the candidate is in transition, there is a way you can still apply to advance. When you're submitting your documents, you will have to supply your most previous past position for your job description and organizational chart. And if you're using somebody from that previous job as your reference, yes, that would be okay to, as long as they were from your most past position.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to recognize that there are a number of questions that are coming in through our question box, and we're really trying to answer them as quickly as possible. I think that we have addressed a number of these questions at a broad level throughout today's presentation. So I thank you so much for hanging in to the end. And again, this recording will be made available, as well as the PowerPoint is attached as a handout, which you can find in the GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar handout section as part of your platform today. Juliana, thank you so much for taking all of these questions. And I recognize that some may be individualized and some may be about people's personal situations. We do encourage you to contact our customer service center. Not only are these folks answering questions in the chat box today, but always available to take questions either through our email address at contact@ache.org or through the phone at 312-424-9400. We really are eager to help you, to support you throughout your journey. Thank you so much, Juliana, for today.
Thank you. And on behalf of ACHE, thank you for joining us and have a wonderful rest of your day.